What's up, cinephiles? Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I'll be talking about a quirky animated film from Sony. This one is called The Mitchells vs. the Machines, directed by Rianda. It's now streaming on Netflix, and this tells the story of a dysfunctional family who finds themselves in the middle of a robot apocalypse, and suddenly they become humanity's unlikely last hope. Now, before I continue with this review, I invite you guys, if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please show me some love by hitting that subscribe button. We do weekly reviews of movies and TV shows, and while you're at it, please give this video a like. Now, the trailer for this movie kept on mentioning that this is from the same studio that brought Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the Lego movie, but we also have to remember that this is the same studio that brought the Emoji Movie, a movie that I purposely avoided because of the terrible reviews that I've read and heard. However, the name that I'm going to forefront for this review are the names of the producers, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. They are the true geniuses behind Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and the Lego Movie. You might also know them as the creators behind the super funny 21 Jump Street franchise, so you can expect the same level of zany humor, the outrageous setups for this movie, The Mitchells vs. the Machines. And I'm really glad that it's on Netflix because I don't think this movie will gain much following if it's released theatrically because of the pandemic situation that we have. But I think the edge of Sony over the frontrunner Pixar is Pixar has its formula. They are known as the onion chopping ninjas. If you watch a Pixar movie, you're going to expect some tearjerker moments here. And in Sony, there are also heartfelt moments here, but not in the level that you're gonna bawl your eyes out. It's still effective, you know, it's still competent at the same level. The edge of Sony here is they can do something that's surprising and something that's offbeat, something that you won't expect from Pixar. So I think Sony really needs to invest in this duo, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, because they have this hyperkinetic energy and outrageous humor that's always present in these movies. Let's talk about the animation style. Of course, this movie takes cues and inspirations from the two movies that I mentioned earlier, but I would actually throw in a good measure of SpongeBob movies as well. The recent movies like SpongeBob Out of the Water and SpongeBob On the Run, whatever the title of that movie, just because the movie infuses some realistic images and videos. It appeals on the old school cartoonish side and 3D animation, mix of 2D animations. It's really wonderful, and it also taps into the internet culture with the use of its memes, the viral videos, all those emojis, all those cat filters, which are really used in maximum effect. It almost feels like this movie has ADD. It's like a work of art. It's like a mural to see all those different kinds of art being mixed together, and in the grand scheme of things, in its grand plan, it works because the movie deals with a lot of emotions. It takes you on a roller coaster ride. That's how human life should be. It's messy. Also, for the film nerds like me, you're going to like this movie because there are some inspirations, movie inspirations. Some are explicitly said, some are there in spirit. So from the basic premise itself, we have here an upgrade that causes to a robotic revolution. So I think this is something that iRobot has done before, and there's a mall battle scene that seems to be inspired by Dawn of the Dead. Then we have here this marching robots, obviously talk about Star Wars and its stormtroopers. And there's a giant Furby here, 50 feet tall giant Furby that suddenly blasts out a blue laser, kind of like what Godzilla does. So this movie is a lot to take in, and I was really ecstatic while watching this. I was laughing, I got emotional, I was in stitches, and I think the movie really utilized its high concept because it's about them, the family of Mitchells versus the machines, and we're not only limiting on the robots, we're also talking about appliances, anything that's powered by electricity. We have here evil vending machines, washing machines, even those Roombas. It's really appealing, and to the overall execution of the movie, it feels like a student project, you know, in a good way, because Katie here kind of serves as some sort of the POV of the movie. So she is like the director and the narrator for this movie. She does a lot of YouTube videos in her entire filmography, featuring a lot of short films. So it seems like the whole movie is something that Katie has made, and I think that's perfect. When it comes to the narrative, it's very zippy. It juggles a lot of ideas. Some of the ideas are truly clever, some of it are outrageously silly, but nevertheless, they all form together in this heartfelt core, which is about family, teenagers trying to get out of their nest, and parents constantly worrying for the future of their children. Things like that that most of us can resonate, and it's genuinely hilarious because I think there's a mix of sitcom humor here. 80% of the jokes landed here for me, and that's already a high rate for a comedy. So it's a very satisfying mix of heartfelt drama, zany humor, and explosive action sequences. When it comes to the logic, given this is an animated family movie, I think I'm gonna give a much bigger leeway when it comes to suspension of disbelief, you know, as long as it's wholesome. I honestly don't care if there's some lips on logic here, some outrageous things, because I think it gets away. It has the license because it's an animated movie. So I'm not gonna pander much about that. Now let's talk about the characters here. I've already partly touched that. Katie, she is voiced by Abbi Jacobson. I think this is a wonderful and adorable character. As I've said, she's a young and budding filmmaker in her own right. She wants to get away from her family because she feels like she belongs into this new set of people that's eventually going to accept and love her for who she is. And right from the get-go, you can see that there's a generational divide between her and her father here. Rick Mitchell, voiced by Danny McBride, because this is the complete opposite of Katie. He's averse to technology, and he feels like he's starting to become an obsolete component in the life of Katie. Also, I have to add, there's a throwaway line here or a visual gag that teases about her sexuality. So I think it's kind of refreshing and progressive that the movie tackled her sexuality. Well, not honestly tackled, but, you know, stated it as a matter of fact and moved on, just like any other straight person would happen to be on the show. With that hint of sexuality, it kind of adds a layer implicitly of why these two people can't see each other on the same page. And going back to Rick again, this is the guy who loves fixing things. It's only natural for him to worry about the future of his daughter because filmmaking is not a conventional career. The movie really made good points on the generational divides. I think I would also liken the character arc here of Rick to the character of PAL 300, which is wonderfully voiced by Olivia Colman. She serves as the villain of the movie. I almost want to see her facial expressions because she's playing a different character here, an against stereotype character. I'm so used to seeing her as Queen Elizabeth in The Crown. So in here, to see her megalomaniac side come out, I think that's wonderful. So in here, PAL 300 feels betrayed because she was ultimately disposed by her creator. So what she literally does is, nope, I'm gonna outsmart you, I'm gonna control your new creations, and I'm gonna prove a point that humans are worthless, that robots need to take over. So that's the main premise of the movie. We don't really need to delve much on that. It can get as silly as it can be because this is a bonkers animated film. So I'm fine with that. Now, rounding up the cast, we have here Maya Rudolph voicing the mother, which is Linda. I think she's wonderful because she's overly positive. She also has her insecurities of her own. Then we have here Aaron, who loves dinosaurs and acts awkward with girls. He's voiced by the director himself, Mike Rianda. But the true star of the show, the one character here that made me fall in love with this character, is Monchi the dog. I mean, he's the secret MVP of this movie. There is a running joke for this character and it never gets stale. It gets me every time. I think he's one of the highlights of the movie. I'm gonna drop in some trivia because I did some digging in the IMDb page of this movie and I found out that this was supposed to be originally voiced by a professional voice actor, but they have decided to go with an actual voice of a dog, which is dog, the pug, an internet celebrity dog. So talk about inclusivity, your move Pixar. So all in all, this movie has a lot of themes. Actually, yeah, it has a lot of going on. It says something about the commentary, in this digital age, how everyone's obsessed with their smartphones and their devices, how these devices in a way actually hinders us in effectively communicating with others. It also tells about family, embracing your inner weirdness, being yourself. It recognizes the fact that all families are different and all families are weird in their own way. And once we get into that level, once the movie successfully portrays that, that is when the time when it truly connects us to us as audience. So this is a type of a family comedy that will really appeal for both kids and adults. It can be both childish and intelligent and emotionally mature at times, and it's endearing, it's entertaining, it's genuinely hilarious. Those are the main qualities that I'm looking for a family animated comedy. So that being said, I'm gonna give this one a 4.5 out of 5, just 0.5 short from being perfect because sometimes it can get too overstuffed. But anyway, this is clearly a work of art. I really appreciate this movie for what it is, and I hope it gains a cult following and it gets considered in the coming Oscar season. I know it's still far, but I really value the artistic value of this movie. So that's it for my review of The Mitchells versus The Machines. Let me know, guys, what you think in the comment sections down below. Have you seen this movie? Also, if you enjoyed watching this video, please give this video a like and subscribe to us for weekly content. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Until then, see you on the next one.